China-Pakistan economic corridor.
CPEC प्रोजेक्ट के जरिए पाकिस्तान पर कब्जा कर सकता है.
The China-Pakistan economic corridor is described as the single biggest comprehensive project.
CPEC is here to stay.
CPEC is an arrangement between the governments of Pakistan and China whereby they seek to integrate their economies further by opening up spaces within Pakistan's economy to absorb Chinese investment, as well as opening up passageways and routes through which the fruits of this investment, the output of this investment, will go back to China.
Pakistan has been unable to sort of develop large infrastructure in the last 20-30 years. You know, the Chinese have a saying, where there are roads, there is money. In comes the CPEC program, which promises to build that missing infrastructure in Pakistan. Why did we welcome that? Without the roads, without the railways, without modern ports, it's impossible to go to that next level of growth.
For China, what's important is it allows them to develop the western provinces of China, which are underdeveloped a little bit. And it also gives them access and a trade corridor to Gwadar, which is a deep sea port, which gives China then access, a much easier access to the African markets and to the Middle East, right? So, I mean, it's a commercially driven, mutually beneficial understanding.
China benefits because it has surplus and it's able to transfer some of this to another market. China has surplus of industry, surplus of developed industry, and they have developed more infrastructure than they need probably for the next few decades. Because their own demand has been met, what are they now going to do with this excess industry and excess labor?
A Chinese bank lends to a Chinese company, which then sets up a power plant in Pakistan with a debt-to-equity ratio of 70:30. The Pakistani government pays the Chinese company back two items: debt with interest and a return on equity at 30%. These two items together represent an outflow of dollars to China.
Less than a quarter of this investment is actually in the form of grants. The remainder is in the form of commercial loans that have commercial returns.
The port project, where what they've done is they've given Sri Lanka a series of loans that are quite simply unaffordable for Sri Lanka to pay back. And the way they do this is they create these investments in infrastructure that are frankly too large and too massive for the host country to be able to pay back. The Chinese government then allows the host country to come very close to defaulting, and at the last minute swoops in and says, hey, you know what, for every dollar of loans that you were about to default on, why don't you just give us a share in the ownership of that critical infrastructure project that we financed in the first place? So that there can be this debt to equity swap, which would transfer ownership in a way that is frankly very reminiscent of the way the British government took control of Hong Kong from China.
No country in human history has ever taken 700 million people out of poverty in 30 years, as China has done.
China is a single-party authoritarian state where there is no culture of transparency, there is no culture of questioning. Pakistan has always been a very, very noisy state. Even under its military rule, there has been strident opposition, and under democratic rule, there is an organized opposition with a constitutional role. Now, in Pakistan, public projects and public procurement is always done in a transparent way, and it is always questioned by the opposition and by the media.